It has been exactly 2 years since Battlefront 2's live service came to an end, and I can't even remember the last time that I made a video solely on Battlefront 2, which is kind of depressing because it's the game that this channel was built on, and it's the game that held the Star Wars game community together for years. And here we are, exactly 2 years to the day that EA swung the axe on the most popular Star Wars game that we had. So in this video, we're going to be doing a little bit of a retrospective on Battlefront 2 and look at where Battlefront 2 could be today if it was never cancelled. I'll be pulling in tidbits of information from here and there that have come out since the game was cancelled, specifically focusing on the content that the game had planned, including heroes and planets, to determine where this game could be today and just how big this waste of potential was. Because we could have been staring at the best Battlefront game ever made, by far, if things kept going the way that they were planned to. Because let me tell you, DICE had some really good stuff in the pipeline for this game. But before we dive into all of that good stuff, we do have a quick sponsor for today's video. This video is once again sponsored by our friends over at ownersaber.com. You guys know the drill. They sell incredible high quality lightsabers and they are still running 20% off all lightsabers across their store. And for the remainder of April, they will be throwing in a free lightsaber stand to showcase off your lightsaber. So there's not long left on that, so you've got to jump on it quickly. And if you do buy a lightsaber, just know that the stand won't show up in your cart upon purchase, but it will be shipped to you anyway, so don't stress about that. So head on over to ownersaber.com, their link will be in the description below. Pick yourself up a lightsaber for 20% off and get a free lightsaber stand with it. And another big thank you to Ownersaber for continuing the support of the channel. But now let's get into the video. So it's been 2 years since the announcement of the Scarif update coming to Battlefront 2. I remember the anticipation for this update was just like next level. It got delayed a little bit because of the pandemic, but then it finally came. And amongst all the hype, we got hit with an absolute curveball. With Dennis Brandval, the godfather of Battlefront, saying in the announcement trailer that their vision has come to an end for Battlefront 2. Which roughly translated to, we have a ton of content planned for this game still, but the big boys upstairs said that we have to try and save the Battlefield franchise, so see ya nerds. And that was it, one of the biggest and best gaming comebacks of all time, if not the best, or second to No Man's Sky, just done, finished, just as it was hitting its stride. So much work and effort to bring the game to a state that fans and the developers deserved, and then it got kicked to the curb so that they could go and try and revive the dwindling Battlefield franchise. And here we are in 2022, and we have the benefit of seeing how that turned out. Needless to say, it didn't work, like at all. In fact, it actually made things 10 times worse. And then in late 2021, we found out that EA actually rejected DICE's pitch for a Battlefront 3 because of licensing costs. But then they went and confirmed that they're making not one, not two, but 3 other Star Wars games. Yeah, good luck working that one out. So suffice to say that the Battlefront franchise in the past 2 years has been interesting, to say the very least. And by interesting, I mean absolutely nothing at all makes any sense. Like not even a tiny little bit. Whilst the rest of Star Wars games has begun to get back on track in the past year or so, the Battlefront franchise is just at the bottom of the pool, dead and forgotten, which is still completely mind-blowing to all of us. But anyway, with the always interesting orientation of Battlefront 2's story out of the way, where would Battlefront 2 be today if one of the dumbest decisions in gaming history hadn't have been made? And of course its live service was still continuing. Well, that's where this gets a little bit sad. DICE were really starting to hit their stride with content for Battlefront 2 when it all came to an end, and in just the past year or so, in fact the past 6 months, we have found out a lot more in regards to DICE's plans for Battlefront 2 if it kept going. Now, I made a video a year ago on this exact topic, 1 year since Battlefront 2 came to an end, and in that video we discussed the heroes we potentially could have had. Well, now that it's been 2 years, we actually know what those heroes we would have had were going to be, and also what the next planet was that would have been added to the game. All of this is if the live service wasn't cancelled. We would, as a fact, have gotten Ahsoka Tano and Asajj Ventress as playable heroes in Battlefront 2. That was the plan that DICE had after the Scarif update. That would have happened. It's just so depressing, man. But the thing is, that's not all we were going to get. the next planet we would have gotten, which would have led to a couple maps depending on the game mode, that would have been Mustafar. Yes, one of the most requested planets, maps, locations, whatever you want to call it for Battlefront 2. Ahsoka Tano, Asajj Ventress, and Mustafar would have all been added to Battlefront 2 if things kept going. This has been confirmed by those that worked on the game, including Dennis Brandval, who we spoke about earlier. This is what was going to happen. Like, I'm sorry to ruin your day if you didn't already know this stuff, but yeah, Battlefront 2 would have been looking a whole lot different. Put it that way. Now, it's fair to say that in 2 whole years of further post-launch development, we would have finally ended up seeing heroes like Din Djarin in Battlefront 2, Mando himself, and probably Moff Gideon as the villain. The fact that I can jump into Battlefront and it has 0 Mandalorian content just really sends me the wrong way. Not to mention the game probably would have gotten some content from the Book of Boba Fett if it was still going. Now granted, I wasn't really the biggest fan of the Book of Boba Fett, but seeing content for it in Battlefront 2 would have been an incredible opportunity and would have been the perfect excuse to bring Cad Bane into Battlefront, finally. Like, imagine that for a second, Cad freaking Bane in Battlefront 2 in a Book of Boba Fett update. They could have even dropped Mando in this update as the hero and Cad Bane as the villain, or even Fennec as the hero. Like, it's just such a missed opportunity. Then we can of course throw Obi-Wan Kenobi content for Battlefront 2 into the equation. Skins for Obi-Wan and Vader that we're going to see in the upcoming series. The new Inquisitor as a villain, like, it's just such a waste of potential. Battlefront 2 could be in a position right now, 2 years on from its cancellation, where it would have just been the definitive Star Wars multiplayer game and everything revolved around it. You know, when it just leached off the movies and the shows for more and more content and just became this behemoth of Star Wars games. It could have been one of EA's biggest and most successful cash cows. Instead, it's dead and buried and is just absolutely nothing. And from EA's perspective, Battlefront 2's sacrifice didn't even pay off by saving the Battlefield franchise. Because the Battlefield franchise probably took 2 steps backwards with the launch of Battlefield 2042. Like, Battlefront and Battlefield always get compared, and EA have managed to basically kill both franchises in the past couple years, which is just heartbreaking for fans of both franchises. Like, there is no joy in seeing these 2 franchises die off. Battlefield is struggling for a million reasons, but Battlefront is dead because EA chose to kill it. So it's just 10 times more frustrating as a fan of the franchise to see how all of this is unfolded, and just knowing that there is no next stage for the Battlefront franchise in sight right now. It just makes all of this 10 times worse and more difficult to come to terms with. But yeah, a nice little look back at what could have been for Battlefront 2 2 years on from its cancellation. I've said this in videos before, but Battlefront 2's legacy is just a waste of potential. That is Battlefront 2's legacy, a waste of potential. That's all I think about when I think of Battlefront 2 anymore. It's just such a waste, and I think that rings true for a lot of Star Wars fans. I still to this day just cannot wrap my head around how things unfolded for this game. To release in such a bad and dramatic way, and then to just do the impossible and redeem itself over the course of a couple years, and then when it's where it should be to launch to that next level and become the game that it was always supposed to be, it just gets deleted off the map with no future in sight. It's just never not going to be frustrating. And I feel like this is probably going to be one of the last Battlefront 2 centric videos that I ever make, because I mean, what else is there? It'll have its 5-year anniversary at the end of this year, so you know, I might revisit it then. But yeah, man, there is no way around it. EA, they dropped the ball big on the Battlefront franchise after so much groundwork to improve the reputation, and it just sucks. Hopefully the Battlefront franchise has a future, and if common sense prevails, which for once I hope it does, then we will see something for the Battlefront franchise eventually. But guys, that is about it for me today for this little Battlefront 2 2 years later retrospective sort of thing. What do you think about Battlefront 2 2 years on from its cancellation? Are you still playing it? What content do you wish the game got? Let me know in those comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, then be sure to drop a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and check out Owner Saber through the link below, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.